All right. So looked at the film, watched it with the guys. To start off, critical variables, right? Go right to it. So we're -3 with the ball. 2 fumbles, the interception, 17 points off of those turnovers right there. That makes it hard. And then we had a failed 4th down in a 2-minute drive at the end of the half. And we didn't really use a lot of that time on the clock, so gave them another opportunity. They went down the big screen play, got another touchdown, so 24 points really off of turnovers. You count the failed 4th down, and so we have to be better there. Contact fumbles, just securing it in some of those situations, and then, certainly taking a shot down the field, but you have to take shots at some point, and he came up with a nice play. Byard did on that play right there. Then you kind of go down the road, and 3rd down. We had a 0 for 7 in 3rd and manageable, and then we made some longer distances on the 3rd downs, which were good to kind of keep some drives going. But when you go 0 for 7 in the manageable areas, throughout the game, that's where it really just kind of limits getting to your menu and getting to some of the things offensively that we were able to get to the 2 weeks prior. So what does that do? It kicks your defense back out there again, on a day where the Bears played fantastic and, Caleb Williams scrambled around, made some great plays. They got a bunch of skill players, which we knew. And our guys didn't have a bad day on 3rd down, unfortunately. 10 explosives. We gave up big plays. So the 3rd down story in there kind of gets, washed out because of the explosive plays and changing the field and the turnovers. So, and then in the red zone, we're 0 for 2. They were 3 out of 4 touchdowns there. So in every single critical area that lead to success on Sunday, we got beat. And, from a coaching standpoint, we're looking at our schemes. We're evaluating all that. The players, they want to get their execution right. They want to work on the fundamentals of our principles and our calls. But again, it all starts with effort, and I loved the effort that we got. The film shows a team that's playing really hard. It's about execution. It's about owning our concepts on both sides of it. I watched the special teams units progressively get better. We took steps back in areas offensively. The run game was still 65% efficiency, which was fantastic. Would love to have more of them. I look up at the clock. Next thing you know, we're in the first half and we're down a bunch of scores, and we got to throw it a little bit to try to work ourselves back into that game. So the whole thing, complementary football, like we talked about, we did not get that done, and that's something that we're attacking again this week.
A number of injuries obviously coming out of the game yesterday. What have you learned about the status of each of these guys?
Yeah, so Austin Corbett had a torn bicep. He's going to have surgery, and we're going to lose him for the season. And that's just, again, just another blow with a guy that just stands for everything that I believe in. The work ethic, the practice habits, the professionalism, his positive outlook in terms of what can be on the next drive, just continuing to work, and control the things that he can control. So definitely, my heart is with Austin. We had some good conversations, and I really appreciate him, again, just for getting this thing, starting to go in the right direction, just with his attitude and the way he approaches things. So a big loss there. Taylor Moton's got a tricep. He's going to be week to week. We'll have more information as we kind of evaluate him and test him and move him around some. Clowney, Xavier, shoulder, that's their day-to-day. So we'll just take that as the week goes. And then anybody else I'm missing? Tommy Tremble's in the concussion protocol, so I'm going to leave it at that and just kind of they'll be evaluating him as we go.
Been through this a couple times this season, losing key guys on offense and defense. Understandably, you have to think forward and continue to coach the guys out here. But what kind of emotional toll does that take on you, losing so many leaders throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, it definitely is a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. It's a challenge for the players. It's a challenge for the coaches as we have to, figure out who our new guys are, and they're around us and they know our schemes. But again, playing together, right, and just making sure that we get that experience of guys being out there together. And Trevin and Claude, I thought played solid. There's things they can clean up for sure, which we knew, but those guys getting opportunities to go in for sure. It kind of snaps me back out of it to think of the opportunity that these guys have stepping into these roles. But again, it presents challenges. These are guys that we were counting on, and definitely just from an emotional standpoint on a personal level, just for the guys who are so hopeful for as we build this thing, and we try to get this thing on the right track, that they want to be a part of this, and so that part of it for sure.
Will You start the Falcons game with the same front five as you ended yesterday.
Offensive line-wise, Taylor will not be in there right now with the tricep.
In terms of who you ended the game, I meant Christensen.
Oh, right.
And Josh.
That's what we're counting on right now, yes.
Dave, then can I ask you to clarify some of the comments that you made yesterday
Sure.
regarding Bryce playing
Yeah.
and also protecting Andy, but also having the offensive line switching up? What was the overall logic now that you've had 24 hours to kind of?
Yeah, really the logic was this. The game was out of hand. This is an opportunity to get Bryce in there, let him play football, and we had some time on the clock. And the cool part was we manufactured a pretty good drive out of that and were able to get some valuable reps. And that really that's always that approach and thought process as we go into things, like what does this game look like going into the end of it? Are we within reach of working ourselves back in? If we're not, are there people that we can get valuable reps? Jalen Coker having some nice plays in that situation, and obviously Bryce, go in there being able to play and just be out there with his guys and play ball.
And then to follow up on that, regarding the offensive line, I mean,
Yeah.
Josh and Brady are two pretty, they're veteran players who
Yeah.
are pretty well paid. Who, you have them here to step in. What's your level of confidence in those two guys?
Yeah, super high. I thought Yash showed that he's a big athletic guy. He's what we thought, coming in here to have a good swing tackle just in case something happens. And he's progressed really nicely, just working through, some of the preseason physical things that he was kind of getting his legs back underneath him. And he stepped in and I thought he did a solid job. There's some things to clean up, Brady, except for the one snap, that was really hot on Andy there, backed up, and Andy made a fantastic play on. Besides that, he was really clean, with handling those things. But that's certainly just the communication part of it also plays into it, things that, he's been practicing for. And so I got full confidence in these guys being able to play football this week with a full week of prep, week of work going into this game.
Did you say Taylor is definitely out for Sunday?
Taylor will be out on Sunday, and we'll be kind of monitoring as we go.
Do you have an idea how long he would be out, Dave?
They gave us a big window, so I don't really want to, speculate on that. I kind of want to just treat each, injury that happens, kind of treat it as these isolated things, so the guys can show us what level of confidence and strength they have to be able to get back out there.
Did he tear the try?
He did not.
And Steve kind of referenced this, but you may or may not be aware that he's never missed a game in his career. Just wonder and I know he's not a real vocal guy.
Yeah.
What does that sort of steward leadership, if you will, mean to the locker room?
I think it's huge. I think it's a great message to this team. That's a great question, because guys are always going to have things that you got to find a way to work through, and I think that as we, continue to build this team, the guys that can find a way to make their way back to practice in some way, shape, or form, and that trust factor that goes back and forth between the medical staff, the coaching staff, the players, taking all that information and saying, okay, what can we get out of this day? Because every day is so important, and for Taylor to do that, to have that kind of a streak, he was working through things, and for him to be able to find a way to get back out there, it speaks volumes to who we want to be, as a team, generally, and for me to be able to point to guys, to show the young guys, here, look at these guys and how they managed to get their way back out there to work, and to find that, and we certainly appreciate those guys when they do that.
Do you anticipate opening up DJ or Jonathan Brooks's windows, and what's the latest on Dane and Ian?
Yeah, we're really close there. Dane and Ian both had solid weeks, so this week is really, really crucial for those two guys to get out there, to show good movement skills and confidence, just playing football movements, leaning on people, making plays, all that stuff. As you can imagine, the return to play aspect involves everything but the full speed covering, the full speed blocking and setting edges. And so this is a huge week to evaluate those guys. And I would say DJ and Jonathan are really close. And so we're just, obviously, we get excited about guys who can come back and help us, but at the same time, we have to do what's right for the player first and foremost, and then for the team after that. And so it's getting really close.
I wanted to follow up on, I understand the protecting Andy yesterday.
Yeah.
but there are some you've seen on television, social media,
Yeah.
that's like, because you guys have said that Bryce still could be a franchise quarterback, but you're
Right.
saying you want to protect Andy, but it sounds like maybe not worried about Bryce.
Yeah, honestly, it was just taking all the things into consideration, looking at the score of the game. I saw it as an opportunity to be able to get Bryce out there and play some football.
Dave, your red zone defense has not been very good. It's
Yeah.
88% touchdown percentage.
Yeah.
of the opponent. What's not clicking there?
Yeah, just schematically, just the guys working together, communicating. It all starts with the run game. I think when I flip my hat to the offensive coach, when you look at the best red zone teams across the league every year, it starts with the run game. It starts with teams that are able to kind of continue to make yards to get you closer, and that's an area that we're really focused on working on as a defense. And so if you can make a team one-dimensional in the red zone and force them to pass, that's when your ability for success increases, and so that's something that we've been, attacking really and emphasizing that. And I expect to see just incremental growth, in those areas as we go.
When you look at the film on the run defense,
Yeah.
is it tackling? Is it technique? Is it scheme? Like, it's been like an overarching issue
Yeah.
over the last 18 months. And when you got here, I imagine you watched the tape.
Yeah.
What is the disconnect there? It's overall.
Yeah, just playing team football, communicating all together, all being on the same page is really what it comes down to, And they did a better job in some areas. There were a few drives in there that was like we were pretty efficient defensively early in the downs, but some of the explosive plays kind of made that for naught, in extended drives. But again, it's something for sure that's an emphasis for us that we're continuing to attack. Adding things into like the areas that show up that we need improvement on. We try to manufacture more opportunities in practice, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Dave, had Ream been healthy, would he
Yeah.
have been the choice at center?
Could have been. Just
He's still in the protocol,
he is.
so he's not an option.
Yeah, we have to we're at the mercy of the protocol, making sure we're doing the right thing for him.
And then just back on the protection deal, as you now go forward without 2/5 of your starters, will you have to do anything scheme-wise to kind of, lessen the hits on Andy or the potential for hits?
Within reason, yeah. I mean, that's kind of where we start every week, looking at the front that we're playing against. Really, regardless if we had our opening day first 5 guys, or whatever that is, we always want to be cognizant of where the good rushers are and see if we can offer help.
With that said, are you guys evaluating the center position week to week? Obviously, Ram has experience, Damian Lewis has experience, to where if you felt like Brady was more comfortable at guard or
Yeah, these are all the conversations we've been having this morning. Partly we'll have some more this afternoon, just kind of looking at our full group and what's the best combination of people, because Brady certainly has put the work in to do that, but he's such a valuable player in a lot of areas. We have to look at that and see, like, how does this limit us? How does this help us? And kind of take a good snapshot of what the best combination is.
Dave, as you look back at the film, how Trevin Wallace hold up first start?
I thought he played aggressively. He played fast. He made some big hits on some runs. There are certain things that he got to continue to see, and you can't manufacture real life experience without just being out there and seeing the way that teams are going to try to attack our scheme. And I think the more that he plays, the more he sees and recognizes formations or different sets, he'll be able to play faster and faster to match things up. But in general, just love the physicality. He had some really nice runs and hits on the film from yesterday.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Thank you all.